Well, hypersonic weapons are here. Russia's going to be the first one to use a hypersonic weapon. It is capable of carrying nuclear warheads. It is intercontinental, travels at just over 6,000 miles per hour, so very difficult to detect, let alone shoot down. And there is a solution, a possible solution for defending navies against this monster of a weapon. Bet you're not going to like it. Why? Well, because it involves artificial intelligence. So let's read this. Russia's Navy will be the first to use hypersonic weapons. Now, this is a couple months old, but it really hasn't hit the news like it should. So I'm going to cover it now. Popular mechanics. It did just hit NBC News, breaking news, but I read that and I was like, well, let's see if there's an earlier story, and lo and behold, there was. The Russian Navy will be the first to field a hypersonic weapon system, according to a prominent military analyst. The Navy will test its new Zircon missile sometime next year, a missile that can allegedly fly at speeds in excess of 6,000 miles per hour. Zircon could be used to launch lightning-fast strikes against targets on land or enemy battle groups at sea, including U.S. aircraft carriers, knocking them out in minutes. And the reaction time when the Zircon missile flies at altitudes of about 200 feet, well, the reaction time is a matter of seconds, literally like 25 seconds, 25 seconds. Continuing. Naval Authority H.I. Sutton, writing at Forbes, reports that the first launch of the Zircon missile from a submarine is set for next year. The test will take place on board the Russian Navy's new submarine K-561 Kazan. Sutton believes Russia is sufficiently advanced in hypersonic missile technology that it will be the first to field operational hypersonic weapons. Now, it's going to use a scramjet. It explains that down here. What a scramjet is basically once it reaches supersonic speeds, it sucks in the air and it's able to compress that air and it shoots it out. So it will need a mechanism to get it up to supersonic speeds first. So some sort of a rocket that it'll probably end up jettisoning, or maybe the scramjet runs through it, but we'll see. Hypersonic weapons are weapons that travel between Mach 5 and Mach 10. And Zircon will reportedly fly at Mach 8 or 6,138 miles an hour. That is fast. Zircon likely uses a scramjet, short for supersonic combustion ramjet, for propulsion. A scramjet is an air-breathing engine that takes in air at supersonic speeds, allowing it to work efficiently at high Mach numbers. Scramjets require their hosting body to be already moving at supersonic speeds to work properly. So Zircon uses a rocket booster to exit the submarine and accelerate the speeds where the scramjet can take over. It sucks in air in the front at supersonic speeds. It compresses the air, from what I understand, and then it shoots it out. And it compresses the air so hard that it will combust the air. That's as far as I understand. I encourage you to do your own research on scramjets if you so choose. It's an interesting topic. Russian sources state that Zircon's maximum altitude is 100,000 to 130,000 feet. Reaching max altitude, Zircon could then fly straight at its target in a shallow dive. At more than 6,000 miles an hour, Zircon flies, it says files, but I'm sure they meant flies, 100 miles in less than 1 minute. The powerful Spy-1 radar on U.S. cruisers and destroyers can detect a warhead at 192 miles, giving a U.S. carrier strike force less than 2 minutes to detect, track, and shoot down an incoming Zircon missile. Now, at lower altitudes, 200 feet, it's even less. And it explains it right here. If, on the other hand, Zircon enters a steep dive and then flies low like other cruise missiles, it could prove unstoppable to many navies. Assuming Zircon flies at an altitude of 200 feet, about typical for a cruise missile, a surface ship will detect Zircon at a distance of just 34 miles, and in that scenario they have less than 20 seconds to detect, process, track, and shoot down that hypersonic missile. 20 seconds. Less than 20 seconds. What's the solution for defending against that? Well, AI. All is not lost. Defenders can buy back time against a hypersonic threat by placing the radar at higher altitude, thereby making it a much larger profile as well. So they're not going to raise the radar to a higher altitude. That would make a much larger profile. Another helpful measure would be to automate the ship's defense system, allowing an artificial intelligence to respond to threats automatically and without a man in the loop, which is a risky proposition if fighting takes place where civilian ships and planes might be present. Which, yes, I mean, but even still at 20 seconds, you don't want like a switch to activate the AI and deactivate the AI. You want that AI active all the time, which, yes, it could possibly pose threats if a civilian ship or a civilian plane is flying nearby and the AI is active and it mistakes it as a threat of some sort. And 20 seconds, I don't know if 20 seconds, less than 20 seconds would be long enough for the AI to respond, send an interface for the captain or some other designated crew member to verify target and give the AI defender input to yes, that is a enemy target. I mean, less than 20 seconds, the only way you can do it is to let the AI be on all the time and take control. You have less than 20 seconds. There's no time to interface with a human on that point. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. A little bit scary. But then again, how likely is it that our government has something that they haven't told us? Quite likely. Could it be that maybe the lasers, the new lasers that all destroyers are going to have on them might work? Maybe. Possibly. Link it up to an AI system? Well, I really don't see any other way around it. Less than 20 seconds, human interaction, it's too short a time. There can't be any human interaction. And that, as I said, it does pose a different set of threats, a different set of complications. Zircon, continuing, Zircon is likely armed with both conventional and nuclear warheads, the latter particularly useful targeting enemy fleets. Missiles moving at Mach 8 are difficult to steer, and a conventionally armed Zircon aimed at a moving ship could miss its target entirely. True. The faster it is moving, the less maneuverable it is going to be. Yes, obviously, the faster it's going to get to the target. You've got the kinetic energy, the kinetic damage from that as well, plus the warhead. But targeting a moving target, they would have to calculate it, and that moving target would have to stay pretty much on course. Obviously, they're going to probably have gyroscopes, so there will be a little bit of maneuverability, but at those speeds, they've got to be right on target. One way to solve this is to arm the missile with a nuclear weapon, because, well, you don't have to be very close. During the Cold War, Soviet anti-ship missiles were capable of carrying nuclear warheads, making them capable of knocking out an American aircraft carrier with one near miss. Facing the same adversary, the Russian Navy could elect to also arm Zircon with nuclear weapons, which, I mean, come on, let's be honest, it most likely would. It's important to note that Russian President Vladimir Putin announced Zircon in 2018, along with 5 other weapon systems, all of which will carry nuclear weapons. Some pretty scary stuff, man. The rest just says that it's really fast, that they could launch a surprise attack and knock us out before we'd even have an opportunity to retaliate. The U.S. government is already concerned enough with the threat of low-flying subsonic cruise missiles to field the Joint Land Attack Cruise Missile Defense Elevated Netted Sensor System, or JLENS. Wow, say that 10 times fast. Joint Land Attack Cruise Missile Defense Elevated Netted Sensor System. JLENS consists of 2 radar-equipped aerostats anchored at 10,000 feet above the East Coast, keeping watch against low-flying cruise missiles. How the U.S. government would defend against a hypersonic decapitation strike is unknown. And it would be fast. That would be a very, very fast attack, a supersonic weapon. The retaliation would just be us launching everything. I mean, that's the only retaliation I could think of, is that we would launch everything. It's a bit scary, man. As we advance in weapons, the next step is to advance in the defense of that, and then advance the weapon to overcome that defense, and then advance that defense to match that weapon. So the attacking force always has the advantage, because the defending force is always catching up. Make this defense against this. Well, now they make a weapon that overcomes that defense. And at some point, a weapon is only a weapon if it gets used. It's no good if it's never used. I mean, and once you have the top weapon, you are more likely to use that weapon. So it is pretty scary. Let me know what you guys think on this. It's a little bit scary. I mean, 20 seconds, less than 20 seconds, if it's flying at 200 feet. What could you do in 20 seconds? Seriously. Pull out a stopwatch on your phone or on your watch or whatever, and look at 20 seconds and figure out if you could get an interface from a computer, verify that the target is indeed a military target, a viable target, track the target, and shoot down the target in less than 20 seconds. That presents a problem. Anyways, that's what I got for now. I'll see you guys on the next one. Let me know what you think. I'll see you guys on the next one.